Hey everyone, I'm Adam Harry with
JR.
We're here with the BoLS Tabletop Hour. Thanks for joining us.
Woo!
What's on the agenda today?
We have got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. First up, we are going to be talking about the Edge of the Quarantine Zone. This is the sweet new multi-part Wyrdscapes. These are terrain that you can use. It's designed by Wyrd for like their various games like Malifaux and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you can use them in Malifaux. Other side, they're also just really cool kits.
They're really cool kits. They're like
for miniatures gaming in general.
Yeah, like 28 millimeter scale.
28 to 32 mil. You can probably
whatever.
Yeah, they're really cool kits. We actually got to see them at Gen Con.
Yeah, we're excited to show them off to you guys a little bit today.
Yeah, they're finally out, which we're stoked about.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah,
you can do all kinds of cool stuff. I don't want to give away too much right now, but trust me, you want to see why you definitely do want these.
We're going to be checking out what's... we're going to go through like one of the boxes and kind of show them off and get into why they're so cool. We're also going to be talking about the new Warhound kit that's out. We actually have a couple built and painted as well. So... we'll be back later on the show with these bad boys, and then we're also going to be talking about some Ork stuff.
Yes, because it is, after all, Orktober.
Orktober for 40K, so...
or, as I like to call it, Truck Month.
Truck Month.
But it's truck with two Ks.
Right, because it's Orks. Yeah, I get it. So, yeah, let's hop over. We're going to talk about Wyrdscapes for a bit more now. So... I got to do an unboxing of these kits. There's actually 3 building kits here, and then also 2 of these.
Got 2 like sort of terrain.
Yeah, like
wall,
extras.
Stairs, bits basically.
Yeah, just to help like theme your whole board, depending on what you want to go, how you want to set that all up. They're pretty cool kits. They're full plastic. It's a nice hard plastic, really good detail. Normally we don't do like unboxings here, but we do have some unboxings of both of these sets on our YouTube channel. You can check that out.
Right.
Just BoLS on YouTube. You'll find us there. We're probably going to have a full write-up about all this stuff for tomorrow, so check out our main website at BoLS.net for all that information. But that said, do you want to go ahead and we can kind of show off?
Yeah, let's show off one of these. Let's do the Solarium.
Yeah, my favorite of these 3 buildings is Solarium. It's not really fair to compare the pathways
the makeshift defenses to the buildings.
Yeah.
But you do have the abandoned store, and then you have the haunted spires.
Yeah. One of the cool things about we'll just move this over here. One of the cool things about all of these kits, just moving to the side real fast, is they are all modular.
Yeah.
So yeah, you wanna. So
while you get that out, so you can like combine the different terrain kits and make your own like mega terrain. So like, if we cut to the top of one of these boxes here, I can show you guys. Let's say this guy. As you can see here, that's the base of the building, and there's the roof, and they're modular, so you can slide that right on, or you could combine it with the base of that building
Solarium.
with like the abandoned stores mid part, and then on top of that you could stack the Solarium.
You can actually see on the back of the box, there's different versions of all this kind of setup on all of the 3 boxes. They're all interchangeable. Depending on how you build these, it's really cool to be able to just pop off the roof, put another building on top of these. You can stack them 3, 4, 5 tall if you really wanted to.
Sure.
Or you can just have 3 or 4 different buildings on your tablescape, which is also totally awesome for anybody with tables at home or tables in your game store. And they're really sturdy kits. Again, it's a thicker, hard plastic.
It's a harder, heavier kind of plastic.
Heartier. Yeah.
Yes.
Hardy plastic. So. Let's go ahead and we'll hop over to what's actually the sprues here, which actually those look like.
There we go.
So, yeah. So it comes in a big stack of sprues like this. When we open these up, there weren't a lot of instructions on how to do it, but it's good and bad because there's no wrong way to put these together. As long as you get 4 walls and a roof, you should be good to go. But you can also use the box to help.
Yeah, you can use the box to kind of be your guide.
Yeah. Another cool thing that we were kind of when we saw these at Gen Con, another cool thing we saw was if you don't glue the top roof part down to make that flat floor, you can actually pull that off too and have an interior to the building, because as you'll see, all of these walls are like double-sided.
Yeah.
So
So you could have people you could fight inside the solarium, which is fantastic for narrative play and is just a phenomenal kind of
So absolutely right. You can go inside the buildings. You can tell a cool story. Like again, that wall piece or that roof piece there can double. It's double sided. Which is super cool. Obviously, the roof tiles aren't double-sided because they're going to be on a roof.
But it's the perfect candidate for magnetizing as well. Because that way you can kind of stick them together, then pull them apart. It's super cool. Yeah,
really cool, really well done kits. There's a ton of detail on all these kits. I don't know if you can kind of make out from the camera there, but I'm trying to move it around to show you that there's all the wood. It looks like real wood planks.
It does. There's
you're gonna paint
grain.
Up, it's gonna look real good.
Jagged, uneven edges where it's been broken or destroyed. On
even the underside too is in some of these.
On the windows, you can see there's some kind of decoration on the glass. They're kind of raised.
Oh yeah. Over here, these little bits here too. These weird steam boilers and just there's a bunch of weird chimney bits and stuff. A lot of that stuff can go inside the building as well to add that extra character to your buildings, which we really liked on these kits.
It's hard to tell. The details in the pictures on the boxes and stuff, but it's something else to see them in person. On the sprue, they just look so much more lively.
Yeah. Again, this is a wall section. Though this is a bit that popped off, but you can tell it's pretty sturdy. This wall section, for example, you flip it over. Again, it's double-sided, so no matter how you build a building, you're gonna have texture on one side of the building. It's got stuff going on. That's the first side. Let me flip it over. Boom. There's the other side there. You can see there's lots of stuff going on. I love the exposed brick.
Yeah.
I think that's a great look. And again, you don't have to build these specifically for weird games like Malifaux or the other side coming out. You can really build these for any type of tabletop gaming.
Yeah, they're handy no matter what you're playing. I love the.
Here's another cool example too. This one's got a carpet on it.
Yeah.
You got to see this. So this is one of my favorite bits.
That one looks really cool.
Yeah. Is it this? Yeah, it's this way. So that's a freaking carpet on there. Like I said, there's floor tiles that you're going to connect to the building. Once you clip everything out and put it together, it's pretty obvious how stuff's going to fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
That said, I love the idea of taking a couple of these kits because they come with floor walls and floor pieces. You could kind of design your own building too.
Absolutely,
If you're a converter or a hobbyist who's super into the construction side of things, I think these are a really cool playground to put into your toolbox.
Yeah.
See, with all the details put into it, they would be a blast to paint too.
Oh my god, yeah. With these painted up, they would look incredible.
That carpet is just insane. There's so much detail. There's a floral pattern going on the carpet. If you get a chance to build or paint one of these, painting this would be. Yeah. I want to get this to Ben.
Yeah, and just
let
him go nuts with it for a month, and then see what comes out.
Ben is our pro painter buddy. He's popped by a couple times, but he does some of our painting tutorials on the main site, and his stuff is just phenomenal. He's one of those guys that can wet blend and do all the fancy stuff that I'm still struggling with, but he would make this look absolutely just phenomenal. But aside from the cool details, again, there's just so much extra to work with, these little fences and stuff like that. Doorways.
You got the scalloped roofs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of character to these terrain kits. Just out of the gate, and that's before you put paint on them. If you do, you can kind of skew them however you'd like to see them.
Yeah. It's just a really cool set of buildings, and again, the extra walkways and the makeshift defenses are just. It's like world building, physical world building.
Yeah, literal world building in many cases.
Yeah. One of the things I really appreciate about Terrain too is for me, tabletop gaming in general is very visual for me.
Absolutely.
And so when you're playing in a game setting, sometimes it's hard to imagine what the actual game world looks like.
Right.
And I think that terrain kits really solidify in a player's mind what the game world actually is supposed to look like.
What it feels like.
Yeah.
And the thing that I love the most about these is how usable they are.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a lot of big, flat surfaces on them.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of character detail and stuff, too, right? But there's a lot of big, flat surfaces on them for you to put, like,
That's what we
squads
call
of minis.
We call playability.
Yeah.
Like, you can actually play games on this terrain.
Where's a floor piece? You could probably fit a Warhound on there.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
back to that. Yeah, if you get the idea,
Yeah.
you could put a Warhound in there.
You could fit. I mean, that's
Obviously
the
that's
size
not-
of like a Redemptor, though. Like it's a larger base.
Right.
You can fit them on there, no problem. You could fit a bunch of tactical Marines. You could fit some. You could fit like half of your weird warband.
Sure.
You could
absolutely.
fit.
There's a lot of stuff. It's not just designed for the other side or for Malifaux.
Well, sure, but it's designed with gamers in mind. Like the creators over at Weird know that you want to put your minis on top of their terrain,
Right.
So they made it super easy for you to do exactly that.
Yeah,
like,
and again,
like-
the buildings, the roofs of the buildings, you don't have to glue down.
Yeah, you can just
pull
pop
those
them
right
off.
off.
You could get snipers up there.
Yeah.
You could have your crazy melee assassin hiding up there waiting.
Nobody's ever done that to you, JR. We're joking. You can have your Gene Stealer cult guys pop out from out of the shadows. JR knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
I did that to him. Anyway.
There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with these, and there's 3 buildings out right now, along with the pathways, which are like stairs. And
these are just extra for those of you that might have custom like terrain at home, or like maybe you have like foam hills or something, and you want to kind of put these in a modular way around that to tie it all together. That's what the pathways for. Same deal with the makeshift defenses. They actually have a really cool fountain piece.
They do.
We can show that off.
Like,
yeah.
Weird dragon.
Yeah.
Weird
It's like a drag. It's like a
like dragon fountain thing.
Yeah.
Dragon snake.
Dragon snake. Yes. I'm just gonna lay it down. There we go. But this bit right here is super cool. It's not very often we get to see like fountains, but it's just, again, that's like something that would be in like the town square or something, and you can have the buildings around it. But it's just that image or that terrain piece really brings me into the game world. It's not just seeing what the buildings look like. It's also
it's seeing what the terrain feels like. It completes the theme of everything.
Right.
And they also make a set of objective markers that you can use as scatter
Yep.
terrain, things like headstones and that type of thing. So you can create your own little city
absolutely.
really easily with this whole line.
That's Mars, our producer. Again, it's a whole line of stuff that you can use to create an entire board.
Yeah.
It's just really good stuff. We were pretty blown away by what we did with them when we saw them live at Gen Con.
At Gen Con, yeah, we saw a game of
it was Malifaux and the other side
being played with these guys, and like
it's so cool.
It kind of changed like our opinions on like what you can do with terrain.
Yeah.
Right. It was one of those mind blowing moments for gaming. So.
For a long time, there has been pretty much one company that we've been using the terrain for just in house because it was available.
Right.
And then Predator Press has been coming out with stuff. FFG's been coming out with stuff too for Star Wars, and now we've got the Wyrdscapes from Weird that I can't wait to put together. We were actually like, I was wanting to build these kits when we got them, but I was like, no, we should show them off.
We should show them off in the sprue.
In the sprue.
But you will probably show them off once we've built them as well.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we've been talking about doing a hobby day again. If that's something you'd want to come hang out with, basically turn the cameras on and build some stuff with us. So it's a possibility we've been bouncing around here at the studio. So but these are such good kits. I would love to put a couple together. So.
I want to play on them.
Yeah. Good times.
Good times.
All right, I'm gonna put these away.
All right.
Let's talk.
Let's put the Wyrdscapes up for now.
Again, they come prepackaged like this. There's not a ton of rules, or sorry, not rules, instructions. But you do have to kind of figure it out. But you could. They're not super complex kits. And because they're so modular, again, there's no real wrong way to build them.
And if you go and look at their Wyrdscapes, hold on, I'll wait till I'm unpacking this up.
Yep.
If you go and look at their Wyrdscapes page, you can find more build ideas
Yep.
to kind of get your imagination going.
Yeah.
Because again, these are modular.
I
Just
love
play with them.
how modular they are.
Yeah.
Super great.
All right.
Is it Warhound time?
It's Warhound time.
Okay, Warhound. Boom.
We, in fact, are the Baja men because we let the dogs out.
Are we going with that one?
I did. That's what we're. That's the life we're living right now, Adam.
Boom.
We have the Warhound Titans for Adeptus Titanicus on display here. They are now out and available for you to get and put into your games. As you can see, they come designed to be miniaturized. You can swap, and their arms are
magnetized.
They're miniaturized and magnetized. Their arms are a lot more swappable than the whatchamacallums, the
Warhound, the Warlords.
Warlords.
No, that's just because we don't have a lot of weapon options yet.
It's true.
Yet.
But these guys do have a fair number.
They have it's a really nice kit. These are just a couple of the weapons actually, because we've got the flamers.
Yeah, we've got the flamers and the Mega Bolter.
We've got the Turbo Laser Destroyers. That's a double barrel one. We've got the Vulcan Mega Bolter.
No, I think
here. This is the Vulcan Mega Bolter.
Oh, that's the Mega Bolter, and then we've got the
plasma
blast gun
guns
right here.
What we don't have out is the Inferno guns, which we actually have too. But it's a really cool kit because it actually comes with 2 of each weapon.
Yeah.
And so you can build these double up. You can swap them out however you want to equip your Warhounds. We had our studio painter Chris put these bad boys together and paint them up. I was a little jealous because I kind of wanted to do that. I want to build them for sure. I'm getting a set for,
it was pretty fun.
for my Legion. So,
and the Warhound Titans are kind of a lighter but faster option. They work well. We've got them paired up. They work well when there's at least 2 of them.
Yeah,
because alone they're a little vulnerable. But the wolves hunt in packs, so do warhounds.
Yep.
They have and the reason you want them to do that is because they've got like different tactics and stuff that benefit when you've got more than one warhound available. You've got the combined strikes that gives you extra damage. You can load one up to be good at taking out shields.
Yep, and have the other one ready to actually puncture armor. When they're actually in base-to-base contact, you can actually share your void shields as well, which makes them pretty deadly.
Pretty rad.
They're also at a really, again, because of the scale of the game, they're at a really cool size to actually be able to like move through the city and hunt and use cover in ways that your Warlord definitely can't, and your Reaver has a really hard time doing.
Well, and they've got 3 turns before you even start pushing their engines too. If you're not familiar with how Adeptus Titanicus plays, it's a lot like positioning, right? Your Titans or your mechs or whatever. You get a certain number of move and turns that you can make for free,
because they want to play in that universe where like the size of these Titans
right? It limits
it matters. Yeah,
it limits their maneuverability.
Yeah.
So like the Reaver is fairly maneuverable.
Yeah.
But this guy is just like a big old...
It's a boat.
Yeah, like it's like a battleship, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it literally is, but...
Yeah.
The difference in speed, like the Warhounds move 8 and can turn 3 times, but if you do push their engines, they can move 12 inches.
And turn up to 5 times.
Which is just bonkers.
Yeah, it lets... That's the kind of thing that lets you get into an enemy's rear arc or into their side arcs. And depending on what you're going up against, you want to be in different places, because like the Warlords have sort of point defenses. If you're in their front or rear arcs, you get wrecked. But if you roll up in their side arcs, then you can drop a train on them.
The other fun thing too is the height of the model, the size of the model actually does matter.
Yeah.
So that matters a lot for the top weapons, the carapace mounted weapons. For example, the Warlord, I believe, has a scale value of 10.
Yes.
And so anything that gets within 10 inches of the Warlord, it cannot fire its carapace mounted weapon. So it can't fire the rockets at.
Yeah.
But the Reaver, I believe, has a scale of 7 or 8. I forget exactly. And the Warhounds, they don't have any carapace weapons, but if they did, it'd be scale 6.
So,
but that means 6 inches versus 7 or 8 inches versus 10 inches.
Right.
which is great because that allows the Warhounds, if you can sneak them around and kind of pivot around the terrain and use that to your advantage, you can get in underneath those carapace weapons and not get shot at.
And if you can get outside of the front arc of like the Warlord, you can also again avoid their main weapons and not get shot at.
Yeah,
which is what the Warhounds want to do.
Yeah, definitely, because if they can take a hit, but they cannot just get shot to pieces.
Yeah, they can take like a hit. Here, I'll move these guys over a little bit.
Yeah, we'll show off
their stat card real fast.
Yep.
Square them up. So as you can see, there's in their head, body, and legs, they don't have too much room before they start taking penalties. You can take about 2 points of damage in any section before you're starting to be at +1, and then rapidly +2, and then +3 penalties.
Yeah. And you can kind of see again their reactor core here. They don't have a ton of reactor to play around with, juicing up their weapons or movement. And then their void shields, they only have 4 void shields.
Yes.
Which can come back, but...
They can, but, I mean, once your void shields are down, it's bad news.
Yeah. Because then you start taking hits on the actual armor, and that's just no bueno. So.
But that said, they do have some pretty deadly weapons, like their turbo laser destructors, which are a strength 8, 2-die... long range weapon.
Yeah, the turbo laser destructor is kind of your big hitter of the group. You do have to keep in mind though that it is a draining weapon, meaning you're gonna suffer some penalties to your plasma reactor when you fight. You can take a couple pegs on that. So running them in pairs might not be the best idea or the most energy efficient idea.
If you want to make like a heavy punch beast, though, you can pair that with like a plasma blast gun, which is another strength 8 weapon. You've got the Inferno gun and the Vulcan Mega Bolters, which are well, the Inferno gun is just like a really good all-purpose kind of weapon. It's 3 dice, which is not going to do too much necessarily.
Right, but you can
shielded enemies.
You can hit a lot of things with it, though.
Yeah.
Keep in mind because it uses the flamer template.
Yeah.
Which I'm just excited to get to use a flamer template again.
Yeah, right?
after a very long time of not using a flamer template. So that's pretty exciting about that. And then the Vulcan Mega Bolter is just great at dropping shields because it's so many shots.
And if you can get up close, you're at +1 accuracy, so you're really just going to wreck shop with that.
Yeah. So they're great. Again, you want to use them in... they come in pairs. The box actually comes in... a set of 2, which is great.
Yeah,
so,
and you can get a couple of different mana pools to run them in. There's one that's like a sort of a lighter mana pool where it's like 3 or 4.
I think it's 3 or 4 Warhounds and 1 Reaver.
1 Reaver, yeah, and it's pretty cool. That's like your fast attack wing, basically, if you want to run that.
Right. And then you can just points fill with knights. The one thing I do want to mention, which I think is really cool, as I know a lot of folks were a little hesitant to jump into the game just because of the price points and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think now that the Reaver is actually out and the Warhounds are actually out, that price point's starting to be a little bit like doable.
Yeah,
like,
it's
very
more
affordable.
accessible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Warhounds, I believe, are $75 for 2. And again, this is not a game where you have to have like 30 of them. You could. I'm not going to stop you because that'd be pretty crazy to see.
Yeah.
But 5 Titans per side.
5 Titans per side is
pretty reasonable.
That's a very good number.
Yeah. Plus, you have points filled with knights. It's not designed to be. I mean, the initial game is not supposed to be a 10,000 point mega battle. It's 1,500 points.
Like a decent
1,000 point, 1,500 point battles, which will get you a mana pool of Titans, which is. Honestly, a lot to keep track of anyway.
It is. It's and mana pools. If you don't know, they're like your formations, basically. If you're familiar with 7th edition, they're or your chapters or whatever. They're basically you take these specific units, or you're limited to these units. But if you take them, you gain like whatever abilities that are associated with them.
Yeah, it's like a formation, not a chapter.
Yeah, formation.
Yeah. I do want to point out some quick things, just kind of from a hobby perspective, since we've got all of the Titans together. I do want to show off the magnets. I know that's like a weird thing to talk about, but I think it's very helpful.
It's very, very helpful.
So I'm going to start with the Warlord, excuse me. So I'm just going to move these to the side real fast, and I'll move these over. So when we magnetize these, what we recommend is we dropped in 2 magnets, and I'm going to turn this guy upside down real fast. You can kind of see where we put the magnets. I'm going to hold them still here so we can get a good shot. What's cool about this is I'm sorry, I don't know the exact size of these magnets. I want to say 5mm, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm actually searching for these magnets right now myself, but I'm going to talk to Chris on what size magnet he used. But you can drop magnets in there, and they actually were designed with the magnet holes there. So they kind of knew that players are going to want to magnetize the weapons. Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah, that's what you want to do.
This is an investment, and these are big, cool models. So they included the magnet, the slots to drop magnets in there, which I thought was really cool. As long as you get your polarities squared away, you should be able to magnetize everything, no problem. And then that just pops in right there, and then you get a really cool magnetized Titan. We also magnetized the top.
The carapace weapons? Yeah.
You didn't. I don't think we had to do that because I think they would have fit okay without the magnets.
Right, but it's a nice. Yeah. It's nice to be able to do that and to know that again they designed that with that in mind. Next
up is the Reaver.
Yay!
And kind of the same deal. This one again is another example. You didn't have to magnetize the top. In this case, we didn't because the peg is actually secure enough.
Yeah, it'll hold, and you can kind of rotate or swap it out pretty easily.
But you can see that the hole is hollowed out in this case, so that you could very easily add magnets. I'm not a magnet whiz. A lot of times I wonder how they even work, but I'm just kidding. But I know how they work.
And you were picking on me for the Baja Men
Yeah,
reference.
exactly. Anyway, you don't have to magnetize the top carapace for the Reaver, but it's kind of neat to do it anyway. Anyway, I'll put that down there. Oh wait, actually I want to pop that off. So this one's a little bit different. We magnetized this one slightly different. We put the magnet on the inside of the arm joint instead of the ball joint up here.
Right.
And then we magnetized the weapon as well.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see. Mars, can we see that okay, or do I need to move it?
If you can hold it still, I'll zoom in a little bit more.
Yeah, you can kind of see what got magnetized and what didn't. Where we put the magnet in the joint, you kind of see.
Yeah.
So the magnet's on this end right here. Just want to point that out, and then the magnet is inside that slot. And again, you could even for the Reaver, I would say that you don't even have to use a magnet on the weapons per se. If you had some kind of ferrous metal shard,
yeah, you could probably just
like a punch out or something.
Yeah, put a magnet and then have
right
some
in
metal.
there.
Double magnets is pretty fun though.
Definitely.
And the advantage
arms.
of doing it this way is that you can swap around the loadout. So like we can put this guy on the left arm. But basically you can make one Reaver go a lot further with magnets. Reavers they're just like the workhorse. I think they're probably my favorite of the
They're my favorite too. Just because they have, I think they currently have the most weapon options out of everyone.
They have the most like versatility.
Definitely. I'm kind of leaning on running more than just the one or two that I've got on the way here. But they're really cool. It's a really cool kit. They have different weapon options here as well. So that's how we would recommend magnetizing them. They just look cool on the desktop, on my desktop, the tabletop too. But they're going to be going on my desk. So. And then same deal for the Warhounds. Again, we kind of showed this off already. You can see.
Oh, hold on. We magnetized the arms too.
Oh,
did you? You should show that off because that's pretty
actually
cool.
Yeah, this was what I think Chris got carried away with the magnets real fast. So you don't have to magnetize this part, but Chris actually went above and beyond and did. So there you go. You can do that, and then. Quadruple magnet.
Magnets for days.
Magnets for days.
Don't drop this near your hard drive.
It will erase your hard drive.
My guns are hanging too low. I must make them higher.
Right. So you've got this bit is what you would magnetize. You don't have to. You don't have to do both ends, but he totally did.
He did.
But that's okay.
Fine. I love that he did that.
Yeah.
That again, this makes.
As long as you get the polarity right, you can go nuts. So I thought that's a really cool touch. Thanks for pointing that out, JR.
You're welcome.
For the Warhounds, kind of more. I'm just gonna use this one as an example. Again, you can drop a magnet in here or a piece of metal or something ferrous, inside this slot. And then he actually used little tiny magnets. He didn't use the full size ones here, probably because he used all his other magnets on the Reaver. But you can see it's real easy to magnetize. You just glue them to there, make sure the polarity's in the right spot, and then whoop, goes on like that. And then he did all 4 of the arms. Yeah, if you guys have any, I know there's a couple, like I think K&J magnets is one that I've used in the past for sources of magnets. But if you guys have any sources that you like to use to order magnets from, please drop them in the chat because I'm very curious.
Share them with us. Share them with your fellow audience commenters.
There's a ton of companies that do rare earth magnets.
There are. They're super handy.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of mileage out of a single kit with them.
Yeah.
If you get some practice with these guys and are looking to put this practice into more, like to get more practice with it, there's the new Knight Imperator kit, the one that's got Canis Rex and all that stuff.
Right.
That's going to be coming out. That'll have like every knight.
If you are a magnet wizard, or if you want to practice your magnet wizardry,
you want to become Magneto.
Yeah, the knight. The Canis Rex kit has all of the weapon options for the knights. It's the new default knight kit.
Yeah.
Not only that, it also comes with a precept guy inside, so you can have a pilot.
You can have a pilot and just do all kinds of cool stuff.
It's literally all of the arms that you could ever use, and if you magnetize those bad boys.
Some power fists, some night fists, some chain swords.
Yeah, the Reaver chain sword.
Like
the auto battle cannon. Yeah.
The auto. Like it's got them all. It's got them all.
Pretty cool stuff.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
That's Titanicus, and that's our
I want to play this more, JR.
I do as well. It was really fun, even though I like. The proper way for any game of Adeptus Titanicus to end is with your Titan getting taken out and blowing up and taking all of the enemy forces with you.
Right.
If you overheat your reactor and blow up and take care of everyone...
Or if your opponent gets too close, blows up your reactor, and then the subsequent explosion kills other stuff.
Then you have played a great and successful game of Adeptus Titanicus.
Right. That's what I think. You definitely want to kill everything on the board. It's just a fun game.
It's super fun. It's surprisingly quick, but like incredibly deep.
Yeah, it's a different style than 40K in a lot of ways. It's a little bit more fiddly, but in a good way.
Yeah, it's more like about maneuvering and positioning and figuring out, like, firing strategically. Like, when am I going to shoot? What am I going to shoot? Yeah. And what am I not going to shoot?
Am I going to overcommit, or am I going to,
is this the moment that I go all in?
Yeah.
Or is it not?
Yeah, or do I need to scale down a little bit and try to recover some shields, or let my engines cool down enough so that next turn I can make that opening. So it was a really fun game that we played. Definitely want to check that out in a bit. So later this week, maybe.
Well, let's put these guys away for now.
Yeah,
and
put these guys back.
Get to the heart of the cards.
Are we doing the Yu-Gi-Oh thing?
Yeah, we're talking Yu-Gi-Oh now. No, let's talk about Orktober.
Orkstober. So we have a couple of different things here. We've got the old codex. We've got the current one, which is
codex.
The index.
Yep.
And then we have a little blast from the past here. This is Codex Armageddon.
Now, why would we have an old book like that out, Adam?
This is a great question. The reason we have this book out is because it is legit the first real documentation, I guess, of the original Ork Cult of Speed.
Ooh.
So the Ork Cult of Speed, this is the Speed Freaks, the first rendition of mobs of orcs driving around, not counting Gorkamorka,
right?
But in Armageddon, the Speed Freaks, they had their own rules. We can kind of look at this to see what might be ahead in the future for orcs.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a book coming out, or a box game coming out called Speed Freaks?
That is correct. That is very, very correct. Now, the funny thing is, they have their entire Codex Armageddon was for Steel Legion, Black Templars, Salamanders, and the Orc Speed Freaks.
Wow!
All in one book. That was actually smaller than most codexes back in the day, as you can see.
Yeah, wow.
It's a pretty thin codex. But it was packed full of cool stuff. Didn't have a ton of pictures or art, but it had the whole backstory of Armageddon, the third war for Armageddon, and everything like that.
I can see it's got Warbike Outriders, knobs on Warbike.
Yeah, you can also keep in mind this was a different time with the Force org charts, very different and everything like that. So, but this was cool because it had stuff. It had their rules here, stuff like mounting up and mobbing up and how that all worked, or just the fast response. So they could. This is really relevant actually. Fast response allowed them to deploy reserves on the first turn. What just changed in the FAQ?
You can't deploy reserves on the first turn anymore.
Yeah. So it would be real interesting if the Speed Freaks got to break that rule again, because they did before, and they literally just changed the deployment rules to go back to that.
Yeah,
so.
well, and at the tournament on Sunday, which I think you can, or this weekend, which I think you can find, we live streamed it.
Yeah.
And I believe you can, if not now, you'll soon be able to find it on our YouTube channel as well. You can see how the new FAQ rules play, because the tournament did use them, like the beta changes and stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Like that not being able to come in turn one is huge.
Right.
So if Speed Freaks get to break that rule, that could be really fun.
It would be fun. Another cool thing about this book is it had, again, like an early template of some stuff that we saw change later on. For example, it had the knob Warbike mob, which was a big deal. Really before this, Warbikes were like a thing, but they weren't
They weren't like a huge part, right? But this is where you started to get the knobs
as an HQ
on
slot,
Warbikes.
Specifically as an HQ slot. Because you had knobs on bikes before, but you didn't have like
you couldn't
a war
take one
boss.
as an HQ. Yeah, as a war boss, right? And this lets you do that, and that's where you start to get the knob biker lists from.
Again, that becomes Knob Bikers in 4th edition later on when that codex comes out. Knob Bikers dominated the meta in 4th edition for quite a long time. I remember it being Knob Bikers and Mech Eldar were like the two top tier armies in that edition because of the way the rules worked back then. But again, you see the early templates coming from the idea of Speed Freaks. And JR, you actually wrote about this, right? With the idea that Speed Freaks could change the way Orks even play as of right now.
As of 8th edition, because right now, looking kind of at their index, the Orks are a big, they're like a sort of a massed fire.
They're a horde army.
They're a horde army right now, which is why I think a lot of people love them.
Yeah,
I love to run them or
Orks.
To fight against them, is because you're going to kill a whole bunch of boys.
Yeah, it's always a slugfest with Orks. I always love those games, but right now it's hard to play them in a competitive environment just because if you're running horde Orks, unless you have some cool movement trays, it's really hard to manage. It's hard to manage 300 bodies,
and it is hard to. With Orks especially, it's hard to make sure that you get everyone that you need where they need to be.
Right. Yeah, and again, it's also just a function of the way the army plays. Running them across the field is not the best tactic because if you have them broken up in different mobs or whatever, the enemy can literally just wipe out their front rank, and then you've lost, say, like 6 inches of advancement, and the next turn you're just recovering that back and getting a little extra, and then that rank gets wiped out, and etc. It's just going to kind of compound right now. The other option is like a really like battle wagon heavy list, which isn't the most efficient.
You see them, though. They're a little more resilient, but again, it's not the most efficient use of your points.
Especially
battle wagons
in an environment where knights are reigning supreme right now.
Yeah. No, seriously,
just,
a knight will just obliterate a battle wagon.
Yeah.
I mean, I think...
And the list that are designed to shoot knights work really well against battle wagons.
They do!
So, they're in a weird spot. You can do hybrids of that. But...
I'm curious to see what Speed Freaks and the new Ork Codex will do for the Orks. Because I think being able to play like a more mobile Ork army, or to have more vehicles in there, will be a ton of fun. Like... Those the models look amazing, right? They have this kind of Mad Max
definitely.
Feel
I'm
to
loving
them.
that. I'm loving that.
They have a ton of like I don't know, just character and personality to them.
Sure. Yeah.
And it looks like there are a ton that have melee weapons on them.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that we see like a thing that's designed to like kind of ram into shoot as you ram into an enemy. ram into them, then kind of survive to go do it again. Like
I want to see that too. I think the addition of all of these new orc, it's not as, like, it doesn't carry boys like a truck.
No,
it doesn't have the armor of a battle wagon. But these new trikes and trucks, not trucks, the buggies, they can just get across the battlefield. I think, depending on how fast they make them, they got to be pretty fast.
Yeah.
But they're going to get across the battlefield and be able to tie up units to allow your mobs to get across the field, or to allow your battle wagons to make it there and deliver the payload essentially.
The vibe I'm kind of getting, and that I'm very curious to see like what translates through is I don't know if you remember when we were doing our AdMech games last year.
Yeah.
But the Sidonian Dragoons.
Yeah.
Right? This feels like kind of a cavalry.
Oh man, yeah. Totally, yeah,
almost,
yeah.
You know, like the buggies charge in and break through whatever.
Yeah.
And then you've got your boys and knobs and stuff kind of pouring in to cause chaos and have a good fight, which is what the orcs want to do. Right.
And the other thing too, one of the things that made the Cult of Speed, the Speed Freak list so successful in the 3rd edition, 3.5 edition, when this book came out, was they added a ton of orc shooting to the game.
They did.
That in volumes we hadn't seen before, and with the exception of looters, we haven't really seen since.
Right.
They added a lot of mobile firepower too, so I'm really excited to see where they take these buggies.
What comes out of it? Yeah.
Yeah, between the mix of having small units that move super fast to act as cavalry, either like be the spearhead of an assault and break through the enemy lines, or to sit back and just DACA everything down and be this mobile kind of screen that moves around the board and just causes problems and just pumps out a lot of shots. Even if all those shots aren't landing, they're just putting
them out there.
Yeah.
And, well, it does put it makes your opponent think about where they're putting their guys, because orc shooting is like some of the spikiest stuff out there. Yeah. If your opponent rolls hot, like, your day is ruined. You know that most of the time you're probably fine. But if you leave yourself in a position to be like lit up by orcs with whatever, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to that one turn where it's like all 5s and 6s, and then you're dead.
Orcs shooting is super spiky. That's a really good way to put it, because most of the time they generate such a volume of fire when they can. They generate such a volume of fire that on average, it's going to be doing the same amount of damage that like a regular unit would.
Sure.
But if they roll hot for that 1 or 2 turns, it's just going to obliterate everything.
It's punching way above their weight.
Yeah.
When they're on.
And no, there are days we've seen where they're just ice cold.
They're not either.
Yeah.
But
that's going to be a bad time for the orcs.
That's part of.
That's why we roll dice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the Speed Freaks. There's more stuff on the way. We actually did some analysis too, surprisingly enough, about all of the kits that we've seen so far.
Okay.
Coming in the Speed Freak box, from what we can tell from the pictures that Games Workshop has released, we do know that you're getting 5 orcs on bikes. So we're assume like not bikers or 5 knobs on bikes.
5 war bikes or whatever.
5 war bikes. We do also know in that Speed Freak box, it's its own standalone game as well, but within that box is also going to be 2 new vehicles. We can't tell exactly what they are, but we do know that one of them is the Shock Jump Dragsta.
Right.
That looks like the F1 car is painted yellow. And then I think the other one was the Custom Booster Blaster, which is...
I think so. That's the
it's got the
buggy. That's the new buggy.
It's one of the new buggies. It was painted red, if you remember from the video.
It's the one where the hammer smashes the old buggy.
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah,
exactly. So we do know that it looked like from the video and the pictures Games Workshop's put out, in that box, you're getting basically 2 new vehicles and 5 bikes to come up with whatever the game is for that, and that's a whole other topic. There's also another 3 vehicles coming out.
Yeah, we know that there's the new war boss on trike.
Yeah, that's the Death Killer War Trike,
right?
Which has got it had the guy with the big claw,
the big power claw.
Yeah, they kind of teased and finally just put an image out of him, which was super cool. But he's on a trike, cool. With a driver, and that looks really fancy. And then
yeah,
there's the
Boomdaka Snaz Wagon.
I can't say that without smiling though.
It's hard. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
That's the one that is the most Mad Max of them. That's the one that's blue for
Yeah.
good luck, and it's got the garrote on the
front.
That's
Mad
a blood boy.
Yeah, he's a blood sack, and then they've got the guy on top with like the crazy turret with like 40 different barrels, and
then everyone is leaning out of it with Molotov cocktails ready to
Yeah.
toss him at whatever.
And then finally the
Not
fifth one.
very safe driving.
They're orcs though.
They're gonna be
It's
all
painted
over
blue.
the road. Yeah.
They're lucky. They're the lucky ones.
All right, and then finally
We've got the Megatrack Scrapjet. This is the one that looks like, well, it looked like a scrapjet with no wings.
yeah.
But what's interesting is that turbine on the front. It's actually like a drill.
Yeah, it's been converted.
Yeah, so that really makes me wonder at least if again. If they're gonna be okay in close combat,
Yeah,
I feel like they're gonna be pretty decent because
There
they're
are
orcs.
there are two that definitely have the like close combat weapons built onto them.
Right.
There's the drill of the Megatrack Scrapjet.
And the shock jump dragster
It's
actually
got
has
this,
like the
grinding thing.
yeah. It's got like if you look at it closely, it's got like an angled front part, and then right behind the kind of wedge is like one of those Robot Wars like
yeah, totally.
So it's like gotcha, it knocks you into it, and then you get all ground up.
And then
very orky.
on top of that, like the custom boosted blaster has these giant tusks grafted onto the front of it, and then the Boomdaka wagon, Snaz wagon, has the
Snaz wagon.
I mean, it doesn't have like a close combat weapon built onto it. It's got like a bunch of spiky bits, but everything does. But it does have the boys with Molotovs,
and
which
they've got
screams.
chains and power claws and all that nastiness. So I feel like we were talking about, the Speed Freaks really could be like this new orc cavalry kind of thing,
which would be really cool
Yeah.
to see, because there really isn't that much of that in 8th edition right now, and it could be a really cool niche for the orcs to
they'll have
expand into.
They have the boys, they've got the mob of boys.
Those aren't going to go anywhere.
We've got the big hitters, the battle wagons, the Ludas, the Stampas, the Orkanauts, the Morkanaut or Gorkanaut, however you want to roll. You've got those options. We've even got like snotlings with all their artillery. But that one spot that's kind of weird is like this kind of light cav that can punch into the enemy lines, keep them tied up, and push your...
And just like... punch through the enemy cannon fodder.
Right.
So that your boys can either get at something that matters or won't get chewed up by, a whole bunch of strength 3 shots.
Yeah, well, to use an example from old school Warhammer Fantasy,
yeah.
I don't know if you remember the old Goblin Wolf Riders,
the
Goblin Chariots.
Yeah.
So way back in the day when I was first, kind of getting into everything, my friend described them as basically the Goblin Wolf Riders, or the Goblin wolf chariots, as cruise missiles.
Yeah.
Basically like, hey, this is something that you just kind of point at the enemy, you shoot it out at them, you do a bunch of damage on the way in. If it keeps going, great. If not, it's done its job.
Yeah.
They're cheap, they hit hard, and they, most importantly, they tie stuff up long enough so that your real hitters can get there.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's going to be a good spot for the bikers, or the buggies.
The buggies to fill it, I agree, because it's interesting, because fast attack in general is in sort of this interesting place right now where you don't really see too much.
Yeah.
Because like the game is about mobility, but the highly mobile units, with a few exceptions, so like the Cold Star Commander is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But the mobility, for the most part, is either to get you into close combat.
Yeah.
And you don't really see much of it because you just deep strike in.
Yeah. Shoot stuff
within 9 inches away, shoot things, then charge.
Yeah.
And then you're there, right? You don't have to get across the board. Or it's to grab objectives.
Right.
That like. The whole reason you would take the Swooping Hawks is for that one turn when you're like, okay, game's almost done, I have this objective now.
Or you're just going to drop bombs all game and then show up.
Yeah, and then
and
show up.
Land on the objective, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, there's not a lot of cavalry type units they're kind of on the board, that
just like fighting in the fight.
Yeah, the whole time, so it's a good point, yeah. I mean, Other than the Sidonian Dragoons,
Yes,
those guys
are mean. They will mess you up.
Yeah, I love playing those guys.
Those taser lances.
Yeah, so good.
That's what I'm all about.
But it's going to be interesting with Orktober. I mean, to be perfectly honest, too, I wish GW would talk about it more.
Right.
It's October, it's Orktober, and we've gotten like nothing yet. So
what was the first thing to kick off the year of the Xenos was the release of the Custodes.
Yeah.
So
it's very true.
I mean, you gotta get your Imperium stuff in there.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, nobody plays those guys. You gotta get it out of the way.
You gotta get it out of the way. No one's playing the Imperium. No one cares about Space Marines.
So yeah, it's. I'm really looking forward to all the Ork stuff coming out.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a ton of fun.
I think I like looking at what we've seen in Chapter Approved and coming out of the Index Xenos. We know that like the DACA rule has changed.
Yep.
Orks always hit on 6 now, which is great because they need
that.
They need that. There's a ton of stuff that can penalize you for shooting at it.
What do you think of possible new units on the horizon for Orks? Because I have an idea. I think maybe with Speed Freaks coming out, we've got Orks.
Yeah, we've got
on a bike, War Boss on a bike.
Right.
We've got War Boss on foot, who basically can ride in a battle wagon or a truck. What if we get a War Boss on a buggy?
Ooh, that would be fun. That'd be really cool. Yeah, like or at least a special character buggy, right?
Right. Right. Name him Max.
Yeah.
Or Imperator Ork, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have a bunch of Ork brides you ride. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I want to play Mad Max. I'm just saying.
I'm with you. I want to ride shiny and chrome.
Right. That's what I'm talking about, man.
I think it would be really interesting to see like a character buggy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Or, I want a character buggy. I want that to happen.
Yeah. Some or mysterious racer Ork.
Right. Racer Ork.
That would be kind of amazing.
Now I want a whole Speed Racer thing with
which
Orks.
I mean that's what the Shock Jump Dragsta and the
Come on.
the Booster Blaster look like they could easily do.
Press J for
well,
jump.
and it's interesting because the Shock Jump Dragsta like clearly has like zap gun parts for its engine, right? Like there's no way that doesn't teleport just like into something.
I'm pretty sure that it doesn't actually move because of speed. It moves because it's teleporting through space.
Yeah, with reckless abandon.
That's because
there's no way like, and when it blows up, it could probably teleport guys.
I don't know. I hope so.
Warp or whatever.
I can't wait to see what crazy wonky rules the Orks have because they're crazy wonky Orks. They're always a blast to fight with because it's always going to be just a slobber knocker. You know
what I would love to see?
What would you love to see?
Speaking of crazy wonky rules, so as long as we're talking about like kind of pie in the sky thinking.
Yeah.
So one of the most fun parts in 8th edition is the explodes rule, right?
Yeah.
Because everything, like, if it's got more than 10 wounds, odds are good it's going to explode.
Yeah, the best part of the game.
Yeah,
right there.
Like sometimes they're just a D3 inches, sometimes they're a 6 inches, sometimes they're multiple D6 inches. What I would love to see is the rule that like the Orks used to have.
The old ramshackle thing?
Yeah. So when you would like blow up an Ork vehicle or whatever, it would go D6 inches or whatever in a random direction.
Yeah.
Just kind of careen off into something and then explode.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see that
the old
come
ramshackle
literally crashing back into the game.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I mean, especially with all these vehicles, you could just see that happening. Like, the shock jump dragster gets knocked out of...
I would love if the old ramshackle rule came back because it was just so fun and like random and just it's very orky. It's gonna meander in a direction. It's dead.
It's dead.
But it's gonna random.
It's gonna be bad for someone. Especially with
and sometimes they just like went to a random direction and just stopped.
Yeah.
Too. But it's more fun if they like careen out of control wildly
and explode.
Skadoosh.
I think I think stuff like that feels like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It also has like I mean that's just some of my favorite moments are like oh no, is this thing gonna blow up? And then you kind of are like, oh, it'd be bad if it did, but it's also great when it does.
Yeah. There's always like a cheer when stuff explodes.
Yeah.
So real fast before we wrap up here,
okay.
I want to touch on one more topic for the Orks.
Yes.
orc clans.
Oh yeah, right.
So we do know Games Workshop has confirmed there are going to be 6 clans in the orc book. If you pop over to the Lexicanum, you go to the orc section, you know that there are 6 clans listed.
Yeah.
You know, Goths, the Snake Bites, Bad Moons,
Death Skulls, Sons.
Yeah. Anyway.
Evil Skulls.
Evil Skull, yeah. All those fun ones. They're probably going to be like chapter tactics are for Marines. We know that. The thing is, I'm really wondering if the Speed Freaks are going to be one of those instead.
I mean, you could have like a not clan thing, like the Cult of Speed.
Because there are more than just 6 orc clans.
Right.
And with Speed Freaks coming out, like, it would make sense that they would make a whole, like, you know, these guys love to go fast, paint them red, and
gotta go fast.
Yeah, paint them red, and that's the Speed Freaks army.
Give them some chili dogs.
Maybe. Wow.
Hey.
Give the squig dogs. Yeah. Give them chili. That's bad. That's how they get squig landmines. No, but I wonder if maybe, you know, are we gonna see some new orc clans? Are we gonna see the Speed Freaks instead of one of the orc clans too?
Yeah, well, because there's like the Speed Freaks, there's the Freebooters as well.
Yeah, Freebooters are another great example. Like, they are not really affiliated with a clan, but they totally can be hired as mercs for clans too.
Yeah,
so
they just go around killing stuff and making teeth.
Making the teeth. Yeah, so it's a really interesting time to be an orc player, I think. Like, there's a lot of anticipation, I know, from orc players and the community at large, because again, I'm not an orc player, but I love playing against orcs.
Yeah,
so I would love to see more orc players bring their stuff out.
They make every game fun, no matter what side of the orcs you're
so
on.
much stuff dies. It's just
it's a game that feels like stuff happens. You know, it's not a game where things change like dramatically from turn to turn.
Yeah.
You know, one turn you're like, all right, I've got the orcs, I've got them on the ropes. I just like wiped out a whole mob of boys. But then on the next turn, like...
They returned fire.
Yeah,
oh no!
The jump went off, and now I got charged by a bunch of choppas.
Yeah. Which I've seen happen.
Or like... But that feels a lot more fun than, you know, unloading pretty much every ranged unit you have into a squad of Custodes with their 2-up, 3-up saves. And like one guy dies.
Yeah, I play. You know, when I bust up my Tyranids, some of my favorite games in my entire 40K playing career have been against orcs.
Yeah.
And again, maybe it was the people I'm playing with, or, you know, really though, it's just mechanically the way we interact. It could just be
that people who play orcs are a lot just better people.
Orc players, I love you guys, because it's so fun. It's just like throwing dice, pulling models, killing stuff.
Stuff happens.
Yeah.
The game feels like it's being played. Like it mattered that you showed up, right?
Right.
You almost never see a game against orcs where you're like, well, I didn't kill anything.
Yeah.
I put some wounds on some units and ultimately lost the objectives, which I would have lost anyway.
Yeah.
Go me.
Yeah, it's a game. Whenever you fight a big orc horde, stuff's gonna die on their side, but stuff's gonna die on your side.
It's gonna
just
be
a
fun.
really good interaction.
Yeah.
I want more orcs.
Yeah.
I want more orcs.
Well, this is the month for you.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. We know next week the Commander's expansion for
Kill Team's
coming out.
There's supposed to be a bunch more stuff too. We saw some teasers from that today.
Like the 8 different
Commander boxes for the different factions and stuff.
Yeah.
They're all week. Games Workshop's gonna be showing off the Xenos stuff too. Today we saw a bunch of the Imperial stuff.
Right, but here's hoping that you know, next weekend we maybe see the like pre-orders for Speed Freaks go out.
Maybe.
And then maybe the weekend after that is the Orc Codex. If it's going to be an Orktober.
We gotta have Orcs in October. Come on.
We're quickly running out of time because next week is this weekend is the 13th.
Yep.
And there's the 20th and there's the 27th, and October weekends are done. So there's 3 weekends left.
Yeah.
It might be the last 2. It might be the last 2.
We'll see what happens with
see.
it. But speaking of running out of time, we are out of time today. Again, I'm Adam Harry.
I'm JR.
We're here with the BoLS Tabletop Hour. Thanks for watching. don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.